Bring it on. Okay. Nimma bagge, nimma matu. Hi everyone, ellargu namaskara. I am Harshavardhan Rai. I am 32 years old. Now that I have sworn to be honest, I'm going to tell you the truth. If you ask me outside, I'll say I'm 26. But yeah, I'm 32 and I was born and raised in Madikeri, Karnataka. I'm a designer by profession. I'm into apparel and textile design. And I am a sari enthusiast. I love fabric, I love textile. And it has always been a form of expression for me. So yeah, but I think what I would actually like to say is that I'm a human being. I'm a human being who wants to be happy, who wants to be content, who wants to love, who wants to be loved. And yeah, I think that is where the journey is going. That is what I'm trying to do. And yeah, that's about me. Open the gift. Oh, this is a gift. I was trying to understand what this is doing in the frame. Very cute. I'm very messy when it comes to opening gifts, so I'll do it that way only. I'm not going to do it neatly. Oh, I hear the sound of it already. Another disclaimer, my reactions to gifts are usually not like great. Whenever I've gotten gifts, people have gotten disappointed with my reactions. So, oh, but this is beautiful. I'm so happy you guys gave me jewelry. You've understood me so well. And talking about jewelry, for me, any kind of accessory may it be, I've always felt like, see, now the point of jewelry is it's for the body, right? I don't know why gender got associated with it. So as long as I have a finger, I should be able to wear a finger ring. As long as I have ears, I should be able to wear a earring. So I've never understood this concept of because I'm a man, I cannot wear a certain thing or I cannot have piercings or any of that, because I've always understood, like even makeup for that matter, I feel like makeup is for the skin. So as long as I have skin, I should be able to do makeup. It's very simple logic. I don't know why it is so complex for people to understand. So, and also for me, clothing, accessories, all of it is a form of expression. So when I'm wearing something, it is me telling you that this is what I am and I'm comfortable wearing this. And yeah, so it is another language to me, and I express through what I wear, may it be jewelry, may it be sari or anything. And I'm so happy you guys gave this to me, and I'll be wearing this very often, and I can see myself styling these in hundreds of ways. So thank you so much. We'll go to the next question. Yes. Your career, how did this line of work happen? Was it a choice or chance? So the career that I am in now, it has thankfully been a choice. But this was not what I was before. I used to be a civil engineer. So I did my civil engineering. That was for mom and dad. It was partly my mistake also. I didn't try really hard to convince them. I was like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. What my father actually told me was, Ninge batte design madodishtana, neenu building design madu. It's pretty much the same. So much so that they didn't even let me go into architecture. I had gotten into architecture also, but they didn't let me go. So then I was like, you know what, whatever you guys want. They wanted me to do medicine, but I was like, I am not service-minded. I cannot see blood or whatever all my life. They wanted me to do dental. I was like, I can't see like teeth all my life. So then finally civil engineering. I actually feel bad for civil engineering because I think I didn't do justice to it at all. But yeah, I did my civil engineering, and thankfully I was in an autonomous institution, because of which I think I passed. But if you still go back to my engineering college, which is National Institute of Engineering in Mysore, people will not remember Harshavardhan for anything except for fashion. I was the one who stood out from everyone. What do engineers wear? Some weird graphic t-shirt and some denim with some random chappals. That is what I saw most of the boys around in. I think I was the only one who dressed up very differently. And I remember even in one of my interviews when I went, for me, formal meant a shirt. I wore some really nice shirt. I had straightened my hair, and with some jewelry I went, and the interview guy was like, "Do you know you've come for an interview?" And I was taken aback, although I cleared that interview, all of that. But wait, what was the question? Why am I talking so much? About my career, huh? So engineering happened. And then what I did was, during my 7th semester, when everyone went for their internships, I took up coaching for fashion institutes. And then I gave my entrance exam for NIFT, NID and all of that. I cleared all of them. And my parents, in a very funny way, my father didn't take me seriously. He was like, "You nillinda clear martane always. How will a civil engineer clear a fashion master's exam?" But I cleared all of them with wonderful marks. And I got into NID, which is a design school in Ahmedabad. And when I left home, I remember what my father told me. He told me, "Don't come back with pink hair." I came back with red hair. That's a different story. But this is what he told me. And my father also told me this, that, I always wanted you to have a stethoscope around your neck, but you have a measuring tape now. But yeah, I left home with those thoughts. My father, I think, was disappointed that I got through. My mom, of course, was celebrating, because that institute has only 15 seats all over the country. So it's not easy getting through. So I came back, I finished my design course. Even then, my father was very unsure what I'm going to do. Now I think he's very proud of what I've done and where I've reached. But so the second one, the career that I'm in right now, thankfully happened by choice. And I think, I did try to get into it also, but I think it's the universe. I always feel like when something is meant for you to happen, the universe always conspires and makes things happen. So I think I'm very fortunate that I'm in the career that I am. Next. I always find these cue cards so fascinating, It's like, it's nice to read out of a cue card. What are the challenges you have faced in this journey? And as a man, has it been any easy or difficult to overcome them? So first things first, I think I've never called myself a man. Even now, it's somehow it doesn't come very natural to me. I've always called myself a human being. Thanks to my upbringing, this is something I have to give credits to my parents. They never actually made me realize that I'm a man. At least not until I was in high school, I think, is when I realized I'm a man. I always grew up thinking I'm just a human being. I didn't fit into a box of a man or a woman, and that is exactly what I feel now also. So all the following questions that I answer, I'll be answering as a human being only, because that is how I've always felt. And now I forgot my question again, sorry. Challenges I faced in this journey. Yeah, like I said, I think it was difficult for me to convince people that fashion can be a fruitful choice for a guy, because people don't understand the difference between a designer and a tailor, to be very honest. I think my entire family still has no idea what I'm doing. They think, marta idane, batte makeup ella hakond, something he does. But what they feel is, ದುಡ್ಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. As long as the money comes into the account, they are all fine. But yeah, I think it took me some time to convince people that I'm not a tailor. Not that, I don't mind people calling me a tailor. It's a wonderful job. It's difficult being a tailor. But yeah, I think that is what for my family, especially, to take me seriously, I think it took forever. That is one challenge. And again, being a man, like Yeah, I'm gonna call myself a man, but then you can please listen to it as a human being. While calling myself a man, the challenges again was that how will he bring enough money to the family? Of course, people think that I'll end up marrying, and how will that work out? I think all those concerns. I know people come from a place of concern, but I think it ends up being. I don't know. I usually get irritated when people ask me these questions. But also another thing is I think people are very scared of me. My entire family is super scared of me, so they don't ask me anything. All these questions are happening behind my back. So I usually don't answer it only. I've always been like, I live my life the way I want to, and I've been living it. A few people who haven't been okay with it have gone away, and I've let them go. But yeah, I think people are scared of me because of which they don't ask me questions. I don't think it has been very challenging. I think I should thank myself for it also, because I'm someone who always listens to me. I'll listen to everything that you have to say, but I will do what I want. So that is how I've always been. So I think challenges hasn't been crazy, but convincing people to take my job seriously, yeah, that took a little bit of time. Um, I think when I was taking up a career choice, what I heard the most was that will you be successful? Because now people want like a blueprint. No, like if you become an engineer, you'll get money, you'll be successful. If you become a doctor. But what is actually true is if you're actually good at whatever you do, money will follow. Money, success, appreciation, all of that will follow. As long as you're true to yourself, you're true to your authentic self, because you know what you're good at. Nobody else can tell you what you're good at. It is you who actually knows what you want to do and what you're good at. As long as you follow that, everything will come to you. The universe will make sure that you get everything back. So all you have to do is listen to yourself and follow your dreams. Even if you don't have a dream, just take one step at a time. Don't go towards a journey. Don't look at the last. Don't look at the climax. Just one step at a time. Let the movie build. Let the story build. So yeah, don't take things seriously. Don't take yourself also seriously. Take yourself very lightly. Make a fool out of yourself. Make mistakes. Like I said, don't look at the final picture. One step at a time, and I think you're good to go. That's all I have to say. Oh, we have a oops pallu moment. Father. I feel like this is something I've actually thought very less about, because I feel most of us end up taking our fathers for granted, because our fathers, being the men that they are, they don't know how to express. They just know how to do. They know how to do what is supposed to be done. And I think my father and I, we have a very close relationship, but then it's not in spoken words. He does his bit, he does what he's supposed to do. I do my bit, I do what I am supposed to do. But yeah, his hand is like this silent presence that is there on my shoulder all the time. I think a lot of decisions that I've taken in my life, I've taken very radical, crazy decisions. But that has been possible only because I know that if something goes wrong, or if something goes right, that hand is there to take care of things. And I think I've not appreciated that much. So through this, first of all, I'd like to thank my dad for being that. Small things like even yesterday, for example, I was not getting a ride to the station, and my father just was like, you know what, I'll just drop you. Even those so small minor things, he doesn't let me worry too much. He just takes care of things instantly. But I think there is a difference between being a father and being a dad. That is something I want to tell people, that being a father, of course, you give birth to your child, you do what is supposed to be done, and all of that. But being a dad, I think, comes from a place of being able to really express yourself and to be able to really show the child that you love them. And that has to be through spoken words, or even, even for example, for my father, I think we hugged each other. I don't even know, the first time we hugged each other was very recently. Like, I think 4 or 5 years ago. That too because of my sister, because she loves physical touch. So her love language is hugging. So she'll just hug you. She'll not, look for consent, especially, I mean, of course, for people who are very close to her. But yeah, my father, even initially when my sister used to hug her, he'd be very uncomfortable. But now he's gotten used to it. Even now we hug only during festivals. That our kaal hiditinala, kaal hidadmele ondu hug. That is also still very awkward, but still we've come to a place wherein we hug a little often than we used to before. But I think it is important for fathers to become dads and to actually show their vulnerable sides to kids and stop being the men, stop being the superhero. The father doesn't have to be a superhero. Even mothers, for example, they don't have to be super moms. I think kids need to see the struggles that parents go through. And I think kids will learn from that, learn much more from that. Because I think what kids feel is that their parents are perfect. And I think that is the final destination where they want to reach, wherein they feel like they have to be perfect. But there is nothing called perfection. Imperfection is what makes you you, and everyone has to go through it. So I think parents should open those struggles up to their kids and become moms and dads and not super dads or super moms. Since childhood, what sort of an important role have friends played in your life? Okay. So I was the firstborn child. I was a super pampered child and a very protected child. So I, to be very honest, didn't have too many close friends. My world was school hogbeku, odbeku, maneg barbeku, and then I would just play inside the house. And it's not like my parents didn't let me to go out. It's just that they also never realized that magu horgade hogbit aadbeku, adella avರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತೇ ಅನ್ಸ್ಲೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. I think I was in class 5 when I realized my classmates are all going and playing after school also outside and all that. Then I went and told my mother that I had never played outside only. I was just inside. My neighbors would come home and I would play with my dolls and all of that. I was that person. So then when I told my mom, horgade hogbit aadbeku, she said, hogu. And then that is when I actually started making friends and started mingling with people. But again, in school, I think I was a very quiet kid who just wanted to do well in studies. Friends and all was not much of a thing. And after class 7, I actually changed my school. I went to an all-boys boarding school. Okay, in Mysore. It was an ashram. And that was my decision, actually. My parents didn't want me to go there. Somebody had told me, you go to this school, your life will be set. There are all these famous people who've studied in this school, and it is very difficult to clear that exam of that school. I have never studied so hard ever in my life. I studied for that exam, and I think I was ranked number 1 out of all the students. And then I got into that school, and it was an eye-opener for me. For a boy who's never thought of himself as a boy, to just study in a school surrounded by all these men with so much of toxic masculine energy around me, it was a lot. So I didn't sustain in that school. I left after 3 months. I joined a new school now. And this school was in a transition phase. The management was changing and all of that. And I was this kid who joined in between. So I was already a bullied kid. Okay, not until class 7, but in that boarding school I was bullied. And then here I joined, I was the tallest kid, so there was no hiding. There was no way I could hide somewhere. I was the tallest kid, I joined in between school, and I was also not like all the other boys, right? So I was not somebody who was, and boys in Coorg are very athletic, very sporty, they're very good at sports. I was someone who's very good at singing and dance and art and good at studies. I was the complete opposite of the boy that I was supposed to be in school. My classmates didn't really bother though, but my seniors bullied me a lot. And So much so that I wouldn't even go to the washroom. I was scared to go to the washroom also. I was that scared. Because I think once I was going to the washroom and some senior pulled my pants down from, and then I was super scared, so I didn't go to the washroom. I would hold from the morning till the evening, and then this is when I started making friends. So a few boys from my class realized that I'm having issues. Even before this, actually, when I joined that school, one of my neighbors, who's a girl, was going to the same school. And I got into the bus and I sat next to her because she's the only person I knew. And the entire bus started screaming. And I didn't realize what happened. And she whispered to my ears, "You're a boy, you're supposed to sit behind." So that is actually the first time ever in my life I realized that I'm a boy and I'm supposed to behave a certain way. So then I went and sat behind. And then, of course, it was only the senior boys, so I was again bullied there. And there was this one guy in my class. I'll tell his name. His name is Tamaya. I've not spoken to him for years. I am not in touch with him. But then, what he used to do, so his stop was one of the first stops. And mine was one of the last stops. So I would rarely get a seat anyway in the bus. So I would be standing with all these seniors bullying. What he started doing was, he started keeping a seat for me from when he used to get in. We were not friends or anything. We studied in the same school as kids, but we wouldn't talk. But it was that, I don't know why he thought he should do that for me. So then he would keep a seat for me in the bus and he would make sure I'm okay. And even in school, there were like these 4 or 5 boys. I would just have lunch with them and I would go to the washroom with them. We don't have any other friendship as such. But then they somehow realized that I need help. And they jumped in. Didn't take credit for it, didn't make me feel like they're helping me or anything. But now when I go back then even I didn't realize what they were doing. Now when I go back, I think I didn't get into depression and all of that in school because of bullying, mainly because of them. Because they made sure I am okay. And thankfully, I was a good kid also. I was a teacher's pet. So the teachers loved me. And if someone messed with me too much, I would go to the principal. I would say, "You nahi tara marta idane," and I was that kid. I was like, don't bother me. I will not leave you if you bother me. So I was like, I'm coming to school to study. I'm going to do that. If you do all this nonsense, I'll go and complain. So then the seniors got scared of me also. But yeah, I think it is these friends, these teachers who kind of made my childhood good. My mother didn't even know I was bullied. Recently, when I was talking to her, I told her, she's like, "You were bullied?" I didn't know only. I'm like, yeah, I took care of it. And also these people helped me take care of it. So I think that is where I started making friends. And even in 11th and 12th, 11th was when I moved to Mysore. So now it was a new city again. My Kannada accent is not very Mysore Kannada. Mine is Madikeri Kannada, which is very soft. So again, it was like very new. Again, I was this kid who was good in dance and music. And it was the same story, repeat, new school. And again, I found this boy again. His name is Chetan. Not in touch with him again. I need to be in touch with him. He also, so his father was an SI and all of that. And he just came and told me, "Maga, ninge yara enadru madide, nanig bandbit hedu." That is all. So entire college was scared of me because they felt, okay, this guy will go and tell this Chetan. And then this Chetan will make sure that, we are in trouble. So there also no one bothered me. So I think these friends made sure that when the entire world made me feel that I was not man enough, they made me feel that I was enough. They didn't care if I was man enough or whatever. They just made me feel like whatever I was enough. So I think I'm very grateful for that. I actually haven't consciously thought about this, but yeah, I need to call these few people and tell them thank you for again making my childhood what it was. Yeah. Oh, masculinity, your thoughts. So, like I said earlier, I've kind of hated all these words for the longest time, okay? Because man, masculinity, all these have been really toxic words in my life. And again, like I said, in school, I was always made to feel that I was not man enough. It was actually after my engineering, when I went to design school, is when I realized that I really don't care what people think. And I don't even want to be that man that they want to be or they think they are. I don't want to be that person because their masculinity is super fragile. I felt like my idea of masculinity, ideally what? You are born as a man. So basically whatever you are should be masculine. That is basically my understanding. So as long as I am happy doing what I'm doing and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, I'm being authentic to myself, that is my masculinity, right? Why I said masculinity is fragile is because I feel like masculinity comes with a lot of don'ts than do's. It's like, idu maadbeda, you are less masculine. Idu hakolbeda, you are less masculine. So I feel like people are stuck in this box. They want to be masculine, as in masculinity somewhere can be strength. No, but you are so weak. You are so weak because you're not being true to yourself only. You're just living a life that the society wants you to live. You're just living the masculinity that the society wants to see. You're not even going into yourself. You're not asking yourself what you are, who you are. So you're so weak as a person for yourself. You might be strong for others, but you're so weak for yourself. So how are you being masculine? I've never understood that concept only. So for me, masculinity actually, I feel most of the men, their masculinity is very fragile. You do this and their masculinity will fall apart. So that is what I feel. So I always have felt like I am much more masculine than any man that I see. I think I've in any room that I'm in, I feel like I am much more masculine than any other man in the room. Do you think it is wrong for a man to cry? Do men find it difficult to be vulnerable emotionally? See, first of all, I'm a crybaby. let's start with that. I'm a super emotional person. I cry for everything. Like, not really things that I am going through. Like, not if I am feeling sad, not like that. But I'm an empath. So if somebody's feeling something, I automatically will feel all. If somebody's in pain, I'll feel all the pain. If someone's happy, I'll feel all the happiness. I've always been that person. So I cry. You play a very chota ad also or something where none of the people in the room would cry, but I would cry. So I think, again, I'll come back to the same thing. We need to look at ourselves as human beings. We all have lacrimal glands. We all feel emotions. We should just let them open up and let those tears fall down. I think all of the men, if they actually start crying, I think they'll never stop because there's so much that I feel all of them have like this locker inside them. They just put all those things and lock it up. They themselves don't go into that room because the societal pressure of being a man or masculinity is so much that they don't even know that they can feel things. That is what I feel, and that is super toxic, not only for themselves, for their friends, for their relatives, for their wives, whatever. It's toxic for everybody. So I do not think that men cannot cry. I think everybody should cry. I think it's very healthy to cry. When you're going through something, you cry, and the liberation you feel after that, you feel so light. So I think men should go through it. I think everyone should just cry once and experience what it feels like. So yeah, I think it's very human to cry, and I think everyone can cry. What was the second part? There was something else, no? Huh? They find it difficult to be vulnerable. Okay. So, see, a lot of people think that vulnerability is weakness. I see vulnerability as strength. Because if a person is able to be vulnerable, a person will only be vulnerable when they're not scared. Because vulnerability, fear, all of that comes hand in hand. If someone is coming to you and they're able to actually pour their heart out to you and be vulnerable, there's a lot of strength in that. I would rather be with that person than this person who appears to be strong but inside is super duper weak and emotionally unavailable. No. So I feel vulnerability is super attractive. It's very hot, and it also translates to strength. And I feel bad actually for the men who are not emotionally aware, who've not connected to their emotional self, because of course they're ruining relationships that they have with other people because of that. Because if you're not vulnerable enough, if you're not emotionally intelligent, if you're not able to communicate emotionally, how will the other person know what you're going through? They will never know. So they'll of course think that it's all a happy world and you are completely fine. But no, open yourself up. Let the other person see through you. And I think, like I said, vulnerability is beautiful. It's hot. Responsibilities defined for a man in the society. Do they get acknowledged or appreciated enough? Okay. I think, you know what? Men take responsibilities of the whole world, but they don't take their own responsibility. What I feel, because men always expect the whole world to take their responsibility, which is again very toxic. I think the first thing what men should do is to learn to be responsible for themselves. That I think most of the men are not. Of course, things are changing now. But then, see, for me, for example, I have never taken others' responsibilities as mine. Even my parents, what I always tell them is, you have given birth to me, yes, but I am not responsible for how you feel. How you feel is your journey. I don't want to get affected by how you feel, or I don't want my life decisions to be based on how you feel. I want my life decisions to be based on how I feel, because I am responsible for my life. You guys are not. But they will never understand it. They always feel like I am their responsibility and they are mine. Of course, I get it. They are my responsibility for certain things. But when it comes to my life and my life decisions, I am responsible for it. And that's the only responsibility I actually take at home. I take my own responsibility. And of course, when it comes to their health and ghar ka kaam and all of that, that I take responsibility. But otherwise, all these other responsibilities that men think that they should take, that they should be the pillar of the family, or I don't know what all, no. Just be the pillar that you can stand on, and then I think rest everything will fall in place. So the responsibilities that the world puts on you, of course I have been subject to it. Especially being a 32-year-old unmarried man, it kind of keeps knocking at my door now and then. But I think I have tackled it in my own way. But very small things like my father keeps telling me this, that how will the family lineage continue if you do not marry? Well, my sister's there. She'll get married, she'll have kids, or of course that is her choice, no pressure, but then I think she will. So of course the family lineage will continue. So I think whenever responsibilities have hit my door, I've knocked it off. You know, like that. So I remember one of my relatives once, it was like a whole thing that my parents are not able to convince me for marriage, so my relatives will. So it was a family gathering, elru kutkondo, they were trying to convince me, okay. They were like, no, you know what? ಯಾವ ನೀರಾದರೂ ಫೈನಲಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಮುದ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಬೇಕು. I told them, see, I am a pond. Okay, I will not go anywhere. I'm stagnant. I will evaporate. I'll fall back there only. I am no water that will reach samudra. So I think that also, that responsibility there went. After that, they've never asked me, marry, this, that. So I think all the men first should again be aware as to what they want, not give themselves to other people's expectations or responsibilities, because for how long will you do that? For how long will you do that? The day when you realize that, oh God, I didn't do anything for myself, it will be too late. You'll not be in a state to do anything. Not only men, everyone in general. I think they should first, I think whoever's watching this video, first close your eyes and ask yourself, what do I want? And the first thing that comes to your mind, that unfiltered thought, that is what you need to do. Oh, being a man, Bane or boon? How do I answer this question? See, if I go back to my childhood, it was definitely a Bane. Because it was a lot of pressure. And I naturally didn't fit into the man box that people had society had created. But now, like I said, now that I think of myself as a human being, I'm grateful for so many other things than being a man. The only thing I identify with being a man is that my gender identity is a man and I have a sex organ as that of a man. That's the only thing man for me. Otherwise, I feel everybody is the same only. I am so grateful for the life that I have, the parents that I have, the family that I have, that I'm able to talk, that I have a voice, that I physically I'm okay, I'm blessed. I'm so much more grateful for all of those things than me being a man. I think irrespective of me being a man or whatever, nothing would change. So I think I'm grateful to the universe for making me, for being born as a human being, and for making me an empath, for making me a person who's able to love, who's able to feel, I wouldn't say I'm completely emotionally aware or completely self-aware. At least I'm on that journey. So yeah, I think I'm just grateful for who I am, irrespective of being a man. What do you reckon is the biggest flaw in people these days? I think in the age that we are, everything is in front of you, right? You don't have to really go looking out for things. Everything is just a reel away or a picture away, just a scroll away. It is very difficult to actually listen to your true, authentic self. Because there are so many things around that can kind of, adulterate your true self. Even talking from my personal experience, I tried to fit in the mold for the longest. I tried to be the boy that everyone wanted me to be. I tried to be the man that my parents or they wanted me to be. I mean, of course, it was going all well and smooth, but I think I realized that there was no authenticity to it. I was also just being another man in the crowd. When I started putting out things on Instagram, I think one day I was just really bored and I was like, what to do? I just turned on the camera, I did something. And I was very skeptical of putting it out there because what I put out there was not fitting into any of these boxes. And I just called a friend and I was like, listen, I've done something like this. I showed it to him and I'm like, do you think I should put it out there? And he was like, what are you feeling? I said, I'm feeling like it's fine. It's fine. I have nothing to lose. He's like, go for it. And I put it out there, and the amount of love that I got back in return, I have never got in my whole life trying to fit into that box. So that is when I actually realized that people actually want to see you for who you are. So of course there are people who will hate you for who you are. If you open my Instagram also, there are random comments which say all of that. But I have reached a point now, thanks to all those bullies ever since I was a kid, that nothing affects me anymore. I instead feel bad for those people. I feel like for somebody to be able to say bad things to you and find satisfaction in that, they might be going through something really crazy. So I feel bad for all those hate comments that comes in. It doesn't affect me at all. And what I realized was all they want is a reaction from me. Good, bad, ugly, they do not care. They just want a reaction. And the moment I react, they're happy. So I have chosen to ignore. And I used to call people out initially and all of that. But now I have stopped. I rather feel bad for them. I just tell myself, let just the universe throw some light on them. And then I just move on. So I think for people, the biggest mistake, I think what people are doing is to kind of live for others. That is one. Two, getting way too influenced by other people and living in other people's life. I think what everyone wants to see actually is authenticity, because that is what is lacking in today's world. Somebody sees, like, I put up this reel of draping. After like a month, I saw 2-3 other guys who follow me. They're doing the same thing. I of course liked and I gave a thumbs up and all of that. But I'm like, but that is not where your authenticity lies. You see that I'm doing this, it's doing great, it's getting good traction, which is why you're doing it. But no, you need to go back and actually see what you are good at. I've been draping saris for the past 5-6 years, but it took me it's been 3 months since I've started putting myself out there. It took me so much time to actually realize what I'm good at. So, and what you're actually good at, people will want to see. So yeah, I think the biggest mistake is trying to be someone else. You should just be yourself and don't build too many filters. As humans, what we do is we have layers and layers of filters. And you're so used to building those filters that you yourself have forgotten who you are, who you actually are. So slowly just keep putting all those filters out, throw it in the bin, find yourself, find as to who you truly are, and then you don't have to do anything else. People will just usher you with love. And those teeny tiny hate comments doesn't matter. The love is so much. There are 2-3 boys who have sent videos of them draping sari and attending weddings and all of that. And the way that makes me feel, no million views or no whatever money, nothing can give me that. Even like a mother sent me a video of her son, draping her sari, and these messages from mothers who send me messages like, we want our son to be like you. Especially for me, who I have always heard as a kid that I was not like a man enough or whatever, right? So for mothers to tell me that I want my son to be like you, all those messages, the way that makes me feel, like I said, I don't think anything else can. So whenever I make content, or whenever I put anything out there, or whenever I talk, or whenever I live only, the main motive is to be authentic to myself and to more than creating a difference. I want everything that I do to have a purpose. That is it. As long as something has a purpose and as long as that feels true to me, I will do it. Your content is very inspiring. Thank you. Tell us more about this journey and also some thoughts for all your followers. Okay. So first of all, when I started making content, it was not a conscious decision. I'll tell you the story behind it. I randomly quit my job and I used to live in Bombay for 6 years. And one day I asked myself this question. I was like, wait, I have given Bombay so much. What did it give back to me? And I did not have an answer. And then I just left Bombay in a week. I moved back home. I quit my job. I didn't quit actually. I took work from home. I moved back home. Eventually I quit. And then I had nothing to do. And I was never in this place before in my life. I have always been doing one thing after the other. Engineering, then studies, then working. And I was in this place where I had nothing to do. And I had all this time and I was like, okay, I joined music. I got back to a lot of things that I wanted to do. And my friends who know me have always been telling me that you need to put yourself out there in front of the camera. And I'm not a shy person at all. Anyway, I was just like, I didn't consciously think about it. So one day I was doing nothing. And I was like, I have a lot of saris with me. And my sister had a tripod. So I was like, let's just do this. And then I just put the camera on and I was like, what do I know best to do? Draping a sari. And I didn't even talk. I did nothing. I just, and also makeup. I did a little bit of makeup and I just draped myself in a sari. And another thing that I can touch upon here is I was also not very happy with my body. I had body image issues for the longest time. As in, I was just not comfortable with my body. And I had consciously started working on it. I had started working out and I felt like I reached a place wherein I was happy looking at myself in the mirror. I feel like body image issues a lot of us have. And everyone has their own happy place when it comes to their body. And that needs to be their ideal body type. So for me, I found my happy place at that point when I started putting my content out there. And the thing is, I had to look at myself. When I looked at myself in the camera, it gave me much more confidence. I'm like, hey, I love this boy. I think so loving yourself is also a very important part of content creation or life in general. I think I'm deviating a lot from the question, but when I talk about loving yourself, so this is another thing that I consciously started doing when I felt like life was not giving me enough in Bombay. I realized that life was me. I was actually giving myself life. There's nobody who can give me life. It is only me, and I have to work on myself. And I realized that I was not loving myself enough. And that reflected in everything, in my work, in my body, in everything that I did, that automatically reflected. So I consciously started working on myself in terms of health, in terms of my habits, everything. And then I started loving myself. And I also used to ask myself as to why a lot of my previous relationships have not worked. I somehow found an answer to that also in this, because RuPaul, there's a drag queen called RuPaul. She says, how will you love somebody else if you don't love yourself? Right? So I realized that until and unless you truly love yourself, you cannot love somebody else. To love somebody else, you need to actually truly love yourself and accept yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything. Only then will you be able to actually love somebody else. So having said that, so when I started making content is when I realized I've somewhere reached that place. I wouldn't say reached that place. I'm reaching that place wherein I had started to love myself. Like, I would look at myself in the mirror and I would feel good about myself. Although the society might be thinking he doesn't have a job, he quit his job, he moved back home, he's living with his parents, but I felt great about myself and what I was doing. So then I put out that content, and for me, clothing or whatever I wear, like I said initially, has always been a form of expression. So even when I put my first reel out there, it was me expressing myself, not through words. I think it was all through my eyes, my face, and the way I was draping. And what was beautiful was that people connected to it. And like I said, the aim was not to become a content creator. The aim was just, it was a part of falling in love with myself. So I realized that, okay, am I comfortable being in front of the camera? I don't know. Let's figure out. So I just put myself in front of the camera and I fell in love with it. So I think content creation somewhere is like my own love story to myself. That is what it is. Again, it was not planned to become that way, but I feel like every time I put a reel out there, it's like a love letter to myself. So that is how I think I see content creation as now. And I am very respectful of the followers that I have, because I treat them as family. I try my best to reply to every single comment that I get. I try my best to reply to every message that I get, because I value people's time. If somebody is taking the time to appreciate something that I'm doing, then I will give that time back. So so whenever I make content, when I realize that now people have started watching me, I told myself that it is never going to be about me. It is going to be a collective story, because it's a family that I'm building here. It's a community rather that I'm building here. And everything that I do, I'm aware that will impact a larger audience. So whenever I do things, I consider their feelings. Of course, but it is my story. It is a story that I want to put out, but I also am conscious about how it translates to them. For all the people who want to create content, I think that is what I would say. And it's beautiful that I'm telling it now, because I've never thought about this consciously in this way, is fall in love with yourself and keep putting those love letters out to yourself. Stand in front of the camera. Social media can be the medium, can be your paper. And you just start putting those love letters out there, and people will fall in love for who you are, if you are true to yourself and if you're being authentic to your true self. Here's wishing all the human beings that identify as men a very happy Men's Day. This is the first time I'm telling this out loud. I think I want to wish myself also a very happy Men's Day to me also, because I've never really realized of the man that I have become, and I think I'm super proud and happy of the man that I have become today. And what I would want to tell all the men out there is to just let go. Let go. Feel everything that you've always wanted to feel. Don't be so hard on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself because, like I said earlier, being vulnerable is the most difficult thing one can do, but also you need it. It's the most useful thing you can do for yourself. So do that, and I think that will only help you to become a better man.